All right. I am here with Donnie Boivin. Hey, Donnie.
Hey girl, how are you? I'm excited to hang
Great.
out with you.
Yeah, it should be fun. So I wanted to bring you on because for a few reasons. You have a new book out,
I do.
which is
Uh,
awesome.
yep, endless stream of referrals, 10 ways to bring in referrals on a daily basis.
And we definitely want to hear some of those. And you run a networking group that has a little spin on it. So we want to hear about how, because that's what realtors, that's what we do. We network, we want referrals. I mean, all that stuff. So we'd love to hear some of your tips and on
Yeah,
how to network and how to get referrals.
yeah, absolutely. Happy to dive in wherever you want to start.
Let's start with the networking because I think that was something that we were all doing and then all of a sudden it kind of stopped and we're trying to figure out still like navigating this new way. So what are some of your tips for that?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is networking hasn't evolved since 1985. There's organizations like BNI out there, the great organizations, right?
Yeah,
It's the same boring ass meetings,
I
week in and
know.
week out that nobody wants to sit through. So I think what we did with Success Champions Networking is really change up that entire process to bring a different style. So a couple of things when you're thinking about networking in groups in general. One is look at the caliber of the people that are in there. If
Hmm.
there's multi-level marketing, direct sales people, if there's, it's filled full of salespeople, then it's going to become a shit show of everybody trying to sell each other.
Right.
Everybody's gonna be trying to sell you their crap. So you want to look for groups that are filled with more business owners than anything else. And I know this is a
Hmm.
lot of realtors listening to this. So, but think about it. If you get to business owners, the houses you sell are going to be a lot bigger transactions, traditionally
Hmm.
because just business owners traditionally make more money, so they want bigger houses.
Right.
So,
Well, and
that's
their employees too. I mean, if they're bringing people on, you know.
yes, yeah, absolutely, right. So it leads to more houses.
Hmm.
So I think that's the first place I would start. Two, I would think you really look at what's a goal of a chapter. Are people going to sit around and it's going to be an hour of people just telling you who they are and what they do, and then one person comes in and teaches you the history of their company that nobody gives a shit
Right.
about? Then if that's the whole format of the networking group, don't waste your time. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true. I actually had a thought, Donnie, too. If it is more owners, then there is a potential for us to maybe come up with some, and they are like hiring and they're growing, or at some point they will be. There'd be an opportunity for us to come up with some kind of package for their new hires that may
yeah.
be coming in from out of town.
Yeah, absolutely. And most of the realtors that are in our groups, I think we're going to, as of Friday, going to be at 35 chapters across the U.S. But,
Nice.
the realtors in our groups really are more focused on doing that type of things, the big transition moves.
Hmm.
Yes, they want to do the houses in their marketplace, but there's more money for realtors most times in, the referrals from other realtors.
Hmm.
So look for organizations as a whole that allow the realtors to all hang out and get to know each other, because there's value in, if you're in Chicago, knowing a badass realtor in Florida.
Right,
There's
exactly.
value, from North Carolina, California. So when you're looking at these groups, look at it for what are the opportunities that I can give business to others.
Hmm.
I mean, because for me, networking is really about growing other people's businesses. And
Right.
it's not this whole giver's gain mentality, because if you give to gain, that means you're giving to gain. And you're not going to get shit back for
It's
that.
more
That
Zig Ziglar, right?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, so it really should come back to, how can I open the doors for so many people, because it's the right fucking thing to do. The
Well, and we're
universe will take
natural
care of you.
connectors as
Yes.
realtors too. Let me
Yes, you
ask you
have to
this.
be.
It's something we always talk about. So we always see like there's this new shiny object and maybe it's a networking group. What what is your recommendation on how long we should be in it before we decide if it's like quote unquote working? Like how long does that those relationships take?
Yeah, well, so I would first tell you on the shiny objects with things like groups, is
Hmm.
pull the emotion out of it and go, would you put your employee in this group? So
Hmm.
pull yourself out of the equation.
Hmm.
And it's the only way to objectively look at it as a third party is go, okay,
Hmm.
would you pay your employee to spend an hour a week in this
That's
group?
a great question. Yeah.
Right. Right. So
Right.
that's great way to evaluate whether that group's your time. then that before you join any group, go meet with a couple of members and
Mhm.
make sure they're what they say they are, right?
Mhm.
How does a virtual coffee go? How does that one-on-one go?
Mhm.
Are they really the type of people that are supposed to be in those particular chapters?
Right.
You can find a lot about how a group or anything functions by meeting a couple people, spending a little
Mhm.
time. So before you
Well, that's a
invest.
great point too. It's like when you do go and visit these groups and be a part of it, do set up virtual coffees with these people. And that's, I mean, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, huge. And then from there is the time is based off of how quickly can you trust these people enough to put your brand on the line and refer them business.
Hmm.
So beyond connections, connections are great. We all connect. But I'm
Right.
talking full on real referral,
Right.
this person needs your business, they're expecting your call and they're excited to talk to you. That's a
Hmm.
referral, right?
Right. Right.
And if you get to that level, it's looking at that group and to the point of how quickly can I build relationship with these people that I can make real referrals happen. If you can't do that in 6 months, a year, open doors for others, then the group's not going to be any value for you whatsoever.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And if somebody is interested in like learning more about the networking group, what's the best way for them to find out about
Yep,
this?
absolutely. SuccessChampionnetworking.com. Go there. They can visit a group for free. If there's not a group in their area, they can talk to me about starting a group.
Okay.
Really easy, but all SuccessChampionnetworking.com.
Sweet. And I mean, that's all based in referrals. So can you give us like a little sneak peek into your book?
Oh, sure. So it's 10 strategies literally to how you can get referrals.
It's
And
that easy.
it really is. The reason people don't get referrals is they don't fucking ask for them. If it really comes down to,
True.
is and then when they do ask, they ask in such a generic nature that they get generic responses.
Yeah.
So like a realtor will walk up to somebody and go, "Do you know anybody that's wanting to buy or sell a house?"
No.
No, right? Nobody. You don't often talk about that, type of shit when you're talking with
Right.
friends. They may say something like, "I'm looking for, something a few years out or whatever." But if you walk up to a business owner and you were to get more specific on that ask, so one of the first things I walk through is a process of how to get really dialed in on that avatar, that perfect client of yours.
Hmm.
But if you walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, like, do you know anybody that just took a new role in a company? They're
Mm, there you
being
go.
transitioned here from, out of state. They're new to the area. They're looking for places to possibly put their kids. They're looking at new
Mhm.
schools. They're looking at corporate politics. They're looking at different ways to set up their lifestyle here. Do you
Mhm.
know anybody that may be doing that?" When you get specific in the ask,
Mhm.
you'll get specific responses.
I love it. Or who do you know? Who do
Yeah.
you know that has school age kids that are getting ready to go into high school and they need to move to X school district,
Yep.
and hyper localize it. That's a good point because it does make your brain like think more than
Yeah.
just
So
generic, like, who do you know that wants to buy or sell? That's not
absolutely.
nobody.
So if you go back to when I was doing sales training, I can look at you right now and go, "Okay, who do you know that needs sales training?" And odds are you're going to go blank and generic and not have a
Right.
response. But I'm like, "Hey, Jennifer, do you know any CEOs of companies?"
Mhm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you know any of those CEOs? Do they have salespeople?
Yeah.
Right? Have you ever been talking with those CEOs and they said something along the lines, "Man, I wish my salespeople would just sell more." Has that ever been a conversation?
All of them. Yes.
Right, right. So give me a first name of one of those CEOs.
Yeah. We'll say Lisa.
Lisa, right? Would you be comfortable introducing me to Lisa?
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love
Right? It's
it.
very, very simple.
Yeah.
You just got to get them to start thinking about those
Mhm.
trigger words and things that get people interested into what you have.
Yeah.
So the book Endless Stream Referrals, all I do is break it down those very, very, very simple steps. Guys, it's 32 pages. It is meant to read in one fucking setting. There's no
Nice.
fluff. You're not going to hear about my background and story. No, I just dive in and say, here's step one, right? Here's step
Right.
two, all the way through, get in, get out, and learn the stuff and just apply it. And
Well, I
if
think
you,
that people think like if you go too narrow, then they think like they're being pigeonholed, but it's actually not the case, right?
yeah, absolutely. It's just the opposite. When you go narrow, you clarify your message. And this is what
Mm.
people don't understand. So like my avatar, my ideal person I want to work with is a
Mhm.
GSD female. And GSD stands for get shit done female. Okay.
I know a few of those.
Right, right. I want the gal that when she walks into a room, her presence walks in before she does.
Mhm.
Right? She's not a
Mhm.
circle of influence. People just flock to her badassery as well. She
Mhm.
never can sit on the fucking sideline. She's always at the front of the room, leading the groups and
Right.
everything else. And she's probably in a spot in her career or her company where she is had such tremendous success in the past, but now she's trying to kick it up a notch and
Yeah.
is looking for that way to do it and looking to shortcut that process. You find me that person, we'll launch a group together, and I'm telling you, we will crush it. Their next year will be the biggest year they've ever had in their business.
Nice.
Right. So when I tell people that, and I'm curious to your listeners, as soon as I said that, how many of your listeners went, "Ooh, that's me,"
That's
or "I
like
know
all of
exactly." Right.
yeah, right. That's like all realtors. That's why we became a realtor because we
Right.
are like that, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And and so, but when you say that, and when I get so clear in those message, there's guys that are little hear that message and go, yeah, fuck, he's still talking to me.
Yeah,
Right? Because I resonate with all of those traits.
right.
So that's the point, is it's about clarifying the message, not niching down on what you do per
Mm.
se.
That's a good way to look at it in your head if people are struggling with that. It is really just clarifying is all it is. And
Yes.
that's what we talk about like in real estate school, like clarify the neighborhoods you want to work in, the price points you want to be in. And it's fine. All of the other stuff will come too.
Yeah, totally. So, I always found probably one of the unique realtors I've ever met in my life is a young gal that's in Fort Worth, Texas. And there's this one neighborhood, probably has 5, maybe 6,000 homes in it. Okay. So it's a big
Uh-huh.
neighborhood,
That's
but
huge.
right. But if you're going to buy or sell a home in this neighborhood in Fort Worth, you're going through Hannah, period.
Mm.
She knows every homeowner in there. She knows
Hmm.
the history of all the homes, everything else.
Wow.
You're not going to buy or so literally she's built her business almost 100% on referral,
Nice.
because if anybody's going in there, wow, you went blue on me.
I know.
But so she's just known as that area, and anybody will tell you if you're looking in there, you can go through your realtor, but you're going to talk to Hannah before the deal's done
Yeah,
because
right. So
you
you
know
might as well just go straight to Hannah.
Absolutely. So, and it's a brilliant way to position. And I think if more realtors would get so laser focused that they knew an area, territory, whatever else, more than anybody else,
Hmm.
that nobody else is going to be able to do a deal in there unless they come through you,
Right.
you'll build a massive freaking business. But,
Right.
people want to be like, well, I can travel anywhere. Well, fuck, you can lose half a day driving people around
Right.
3
Everywhere.
hours from your house. Right.
Yeah, exactly. No, these are really great tips. And I think, I mean, you do, like you said, you have sales training, you have a podcast, like you do all these things. But I think like the Endless Stream of Referrals book and the Success Champions networking is really like really great for realtors. So we'll make sure to put all the information in there so that if agents have any questions or if they're interested in starting one of these Success Champion networking groups, that they can connect with you.
Brilliant. No, I think it'd be awesome. Just go to the website, come hang
Mhm.
out, and I really think we're changing how the world networks, and we're going to
Awesome.
keep doing it.
I love it. Well, thanks a lot for the tips, Donnie.
Absolutely. Guys, do me a favor. If you listen to this show and you got one nugget, one thing that you can take back and use, do
Mhm.
Jennifer the greatest favor and teach somebody else how to listen to this show.
Yeah.
Literally grab somebody else's phone, another realtor,
Hmm.
put podcast on there,
Hmm.
subscribe them to her show, because reviews are great, but getting somebody else to subscribe to her show will mean
Even
everything
better.
for her
Yeah.
all.
It's like
So,
teaching somebody how to fish, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Versus catching them the fish for them.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Donnie. Have a good day.
You too.
See ya.